Hello and welcome to Six Figure Souls, Doing Good and Making Money. This is a special season 5 highlighting the authors of our book, The Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul-Aligned Business, 25 Practical Strategies from the Experts. I am your host, Camille Miller, pioneer for the Soul Professional Movement and lead author for this book. Today, we are interviewing Claudia Haller. She is the author of chapter 17, You Become Your Thoughts, Mindset Mastery for Ultimate Success. Thank you, Claudia, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Camille.
So this was your first time authoring a chapter in a book or anything, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, because I kind of remember your journey a little bit of going through it as an author. So tell us what it was like to write out your story. And I should mention that your story was very personal, very heartfelt, very inspiring for those that are either read it and are listening to it or about to read it. You just really kind of poured into your story and your why. And I absolutely loved it. It was a great chapter. So tell us what it was like to write your story out for the first time.
I think I want to go back quickly to, and I've brought this up every time I speak about the book, is that, you know, the word of the year, the word usually picking in your group, and the year before it was fearless. And I think I just really wanted to be out of the hiding. And I think even if you go today, actually on my website and you go on my, bio, it says that I had a burnout, and really that's not what it was. There was more to it, and I just wasn't ready to share that.
Right.
And I think writing this book this chapter rather, was just being honest and being fearless and not afraid of what people think and how I'm going to be judged. And also when I was done and I gave it to my family to read, just their reaction and their understanding, and then for myself, just how far I've come. And I was just, we're having a lot of changes this year personally, but I think that was a milestone for this year, to just really look back and see that I did that and I changed, and I didn't think it was possible. So it was just hugely rewarding. And I'm being part of that group too, of course.
Yeah. Did you feel like even writing your story was like a lever that helped you even push forward to the next level?
Yeah, I think the shackles came off.
Yeah.
Right? I think the shackles came off, and then maybe it's because I'm 50 plus. I'm like, this is who I am. You know, not everybody has to like me. Not everybody has to like my story, but to be authentic and to have that space to share that and not hide anymore was just really freeing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like the whole chapter is about mindset. So it really does shift, you know, that lever is gone now. So
yeah. I think I had the same experience, like telling my story for the first time. In fact, someone texted me this morning that just read it, like, oh my gosh, I just finished your chapter. I had no idea. Who's a part of our community. Like, I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. And I'm like, yeah, of course, that's because I was hiding. Right? Yes. And, you know, now that it's out there, people have, you know, a different view of who I am. You are, like, all of it. But I think it's so much more personal. And for me, so much more freeing, which I didn't know until I wrote it.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I actually, writing was freeing, but then reading it was like, and now I was like kind of the last thing, right? Like, okay.
Yeah. Do you think you'd write again, be an author in either a collaborative book or your own book again?
Absolutely. I think it was a great experience. And it wasn't, I wish I could have given it a little bit more. It was a tricky time for us as a family, but it was definitely I'm very thankful for being part of this.
Yeah, I'm glad you are too, because I think your story is inspirational, it's spiritual, it's so many people are going to lean into that story and go, oh my gosh, that's me. And you help so many people by writing your story. So I do so appreciate that you hung in there and you did it, because I knew that you had a lot going on. we launched. People don't know that we started in March writing this book. Like, it's a longer process than just getting it out, you know, and meeting for the first time. Or I was still recruiting people in January, you know, to get this out in the end of June. So
It's like giving birth, being
Yeah,
pregnant.
yeah, it's a long process, and the back and forth and the editing and did that sound good, or, you know, and as an author, you go through so much. Did I really need to say that, right? And if you were like me, it was a lot longer, and then I shortened it. Like I just kept saying, like, that's not necessary. Like I wrote a lot about my divorce, and I took out all of the paragraphs. That was like, no one needed to know any of that. They just need to know the hard part, right? Like that little bit. So I tried to squeeze it into a paragraph, because all those little nuances I didn't think mattered as much.
I think that there are so many things I learned along the way. And now it's one of it is like to be able to just get everything out, read it and say what really matters and how. Even I think in my conversations currently, I feel like I'm much more to the point. I think it has trained me to get everything out, but then really keep the most important parts and be just a little bit clearer with what I say.
So any advice for people that might be starting a business or reading your chapter or even the book and thinking, you know, can I really do this?
I think part of making this so special is that we're not alone. I think writing a book on your own can be very intimidating. I would think, I didn't even think of that. This was something that was doable. It was fun being part of the group. And I think that everybody who has this soul aligned thing going on and wants to be an entrepreneur gets everything covered, right? And really, I think that it allows entrepreneurs to be exactly who they are and get so many strategies to make, you know, to make it their own, like the business their own, and to really step into what they're here to be seen and for.
Yeah. I felt that a lot of the authors, when I read everyone's chapter, a lot of the authors had a common thread that went through all of us as our journey to being totally authentic and coming from that soulful place. Even though each of our stories were different, there was this common thread of, I don't want to say a struggle, but we had a journey or aha moment of something that shifted for us. And we're like, nope, I don't care if I piss off people, I'm going in this direction. Like, this is who I am, and this is what feels right for me.
I think there was just so, you know, for such a long time, I think we are shown who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to show up, and maybe even a little bit extremer as women. Like, how are we supposed to show up, you know? And I feel like the book gives us that freedom to see that everybody out there struggles, and when things shift, that's usually the moment when you embrace who you are and step out of the shadow and to be fine that I always think that life's a team sport. I think you hear me say this in my chapter too, and not everybody can fill all of your cups is kind of my thing to say.
I love that.
But the cup that you have to fill is going to be the best. Just be that person. And I think for so long we were supposed to be I know for me, you're supposed to look a certain way, behave a certain way, say certain things, study whatever. But I really think, and I hope this book, I am sure this book will give entrepreneurs that freedom to say it is okay to be who I am, and everything is going to, you know, there's going to be traction when I can be who I am with all my gifts and talents. And I really love that book for that. I think it's that perfect combination of, I'm here to give you something, I'm here to share something, and it's one piece of the puzzle in somebody else's puzzle. Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. How important do you feel this book is for others wanting to create their first soul-aligned business, or even some of the stories that you've heard from our other authors? Like, what were your impressions when you read some of their chapters?
Again, it really goes back to just what I said. I think that everything has to be perfect. And to see people being successful and having struggled with something is, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to matter. And I think we're afraid that we don't matter if we're not whole and perfect and all of that. And I think this book is really, like I said, for the entrepreneur, gives you strategies on how to have a business. And it just is a little raw, you know, like that it's okay to be exactly who I am, it's just much what I said before, but I think that it's just like this balance for people that want to be soul aligned and they want to be successful in their business. And I think you have 25 great strategies on how to get there, and they're very relatable because I think we all have our package.
Yeah. And I think the book also offers different strategies for different people, and it's not linear. You can read any chapter out of order if you feel that chapter is more aligned with what you need at this moment.
That's what I was going to say, actually, when you first asked the question. I thought this should be a book that is on a shelf and you pick it up, and over the years, I think different chapters will resonate. Or
Absolutely.
You will maybe read a chapter today, and in 3 years, you'll read the same chapter and take something else from it. So it's definitely a book, I believe, that is here for many years to serve many
Absolutely.
people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Claudia, for your time today. And I want to remind everyone that you can go get this book. It is on Amazon.com. There's an ebook. There is a paperback. I am pushing the paperback only because I think that you get the option of opening up any chapter and just going, what do I need to know today? What strategy? And you can use it as a workbook. So that's what I love about this book. So it is available on Amazon. You can Google The Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul Aligned Business. It should also come up under Soul Professional or Soul Aligned Business. So look for that if you're out there. So thanks, Claudia, for your time today.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And for more information about the Soul Professional movement, you can go to soulprofessional.com. This podcast is sponsored by the Natural Life Business Partnership, a global professional organization and business incubator for the soul-aligned entrepreneur. If you live in a higher vibration, have an alternative approach to business, and are here to help repair the world, come check us out at a free meet and greet. You can go to soulprofessional.com to find the next one available for you in your time zone. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you soon.